Welcome to Mr. Podcast with Claude.
And Justin.
We're back with our commentary series of HBO's Watchmen TV show series, episodic adventure, sci-fi
Method.
fantasy story method system. With episode 108, a god walks into a bar. A
Oh,
bar, a
oh, that
bar,
pun.
a bar. It's like they couldn't help themselves. They just
Yeah.
couldn't. They just couldn't help themselves.
My question, going back to the chicken and the egg metaphor, is which came first?
Both of them
The
at the same time.
okay.
That's the answer. I love that as an explanation of the which came first, like the one of the first philosophical questions of humanity trying to grasp with like concepts that of time and cause and effect, and the final answer we get sometimes it's both at the same time. Yeah. So I think which came first is probably a God walks into a bar because that's already a joke.
Yeah.
And then I think they realized they could do a visual gag with a bar.
Yeah.
Now, what I would love to know, what would be hilarious, right, is if her name was like Angela Smith originally,
Mm-hmm.
and they get to writing this episode, and it's like, well, if we call her Abar, then we can make this extra pun with Abar, and then they rewrite the character name just to make that pun.
Yeah.
Uh, but
Yeah, because
yeah,
it's not like it's not the most common last name. I
hmm
was wondering like where they got that from. And it just seems like, yeah, they came up with it to accommodate the pun.
yeah. I guess that's an interesting question, right? Because let's see, her dad. Where did that come from? Because her dad should have been a Reeves, but I guess the mother moved to Tulsa with Angela's son. I'm sorry, Angela's dad, and maybe
Remarried?
her maiden name was Abar, or she remarried.
Yeah, one of the two. Yeah, that's what it should be.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious about that, and I would suspect in the official Watchmen podcast, which should, I guess, come with the finale. Maybe Craig Mazin will ask Damon Lindelof about that pun, and we will get the origin of the Abar name.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Because I
yeah.
I could almost see the idea that um their first idea was them meeting at a bar,
Mm-hmm.
and then somehow that starting in this idea about her name, but since she's a
Yeah.
completely invented character. But anyway,
Right.
pretty
Right.
crazy episode, a lot of interesting things. As we were just talking pre-podcast, mistakenly thought this was the finale, because I got my order wrong, and even though I knew there were 9 episodes, for some reason I just was expecting the finale tonight. And so when I was watching this and they were taking their leisurely time going through the plot, I was like really surprised. And then by the midpoint or something, when like finally like they get through all the song and dance of their relationship, and he wakes up and all that, I'm like, oh, cool, cool, yeah, yeah, Calvary's here, right? Okay, let's get the plot going. Come on, Millennium Clock. Like, what
Mm-hmm.
we got a lot of things to
I
get
didn't even
through.
mention the Millennium Clock.
Yeah, and then by the end of the episode, I was like, well, decent cliffhanger. Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Manhattan stolen away.
Right.
I guess we'll get to all the other plot points in season 2.
Right.
Super weird, but okay. So I'm reframing my expectations here because uh it was not the finale, it's
Right.
penultimate episode. So yeah, just I guess right off the bat, it's interesting to see Doctor Manhattan as a character, with lines and dialogue,
Mm-hmm.
and how they address him, and then obviously the extra level of him being Cal sometimes, not sometimes, but when he's sort of John before he's Cal, and then this
Mm-hmm.
weird thing I guess they're getting to towards the end, where he's sort of this amalgam of the two, and it's not
Yeah.
clear if that's a production reason because they still want to use the actor,
Right. Shades of
or
Lost.
yeah, or if it's they're gonna explain that because he did reintegrate his memories, right? So
Yeah.
that's the thing. So is it that it's a byproduct of the integration? But I guess one of the biggest things is that's what I was gonna mention earlier is this idea of this temporal loop, this paradox that all of this happened because of his document hand's unique ability to exist or to experience time, different time periods simultaneously, and like Angela's the one who started all this is pretty phenomenal. And
Yes.
in a way, it's lackluster as like in terms of what do I want to say in terms of it being, I want Will to have some big reason that he's doing all this, right? Uh, and
Uh-huh.
so it's lackluster on that front, but but I give it like high marks on inventiveness, right? And using the unique characteristics of this unique character to almost say the same words again is I thought pretty awesome. And when it was happening, I was like, oh wow, she's gonna do it, and then she did it, and then she realized what she did. um it's pretty interesting. And it also is this weird thing. There's some lost relationships too,
Oh
and
my,
that
yes.
you a certain 4-letter word, 7-letter word that starts with a C.
Uh-huh.
uh
I was just gonna say it. Like, we were talking in the last episode about how lost that last one was, number 7. Um, but yeah, this one is the constant.
Oh, I
Oh, what
wasn't
did you
thinking of
have in
that.
mind?
Wait, why is it the constant?
I think so. I think, well, it has other things in common with Lost, but
Angela is his constant.
I think of the compass.
I'm thinking of the compass in
Yeah,
terms of
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the time
So
paradox versus.
there's the three big things that reminded me of Lost. So the first thing was, yeah, the compass. The second thing was that whole like, oh hey Richard, go see me when I'm born. Like, you know, we see Richard there when Locke is born, and it's like, oh my god, how
Mm-hmm.
did he know? Locke fucking
Mm-hmm.
told him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the answer we get here is like along the same lines, like, oh man, how did he know about the clan robes? Angela told him.
Yeah. Although at the time in the scene, he denied that that's what he meant.
I know. Well, putting that aside, which is definitely weird, I agree.
He's like, I didn't mean literally, but yeah, you did, because
He
she meant it
did.
literally.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think they fucked that up in terms of that first scene. I don't think they should have written it that way. I think it worked well at the time, but because of where they were going, like, they should have had him just say like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like, admit like that's he knew she was gonna find that, because that's what they're telling us now.
Yeah, and also what's strange is if I got it right, Angela only knows. Now I kind of forget the line in this episode. Does she say that what's his name, Judd, is? She doesn't say Cyclops, right? She just says Calvary,
Oh, I
right? That
thought she
he.
said Cyclops.
So, but where does
I
that?
guess we'll settle that.
Why does she think he's part of Cyclops?
Um,
She's just
because
making now. She's just making some weird connection between Cyclops and the clan robe. She's conflating those two because there's.
uh, yeah, I mean, she knows about Cyclops from the
I mean,
memories,
that's what
and
that's what
she,
Lori Blake said. She conflated them
yeah,
too. She says
she
the
did.
Calvary is basically the new Cyclops. So that seems
Yeah,
to be true. The truth they want to tell us, but like
yeah,
Angela doesn't know that. She's just presupposing that. But
definitely.
anyway, that whole idea is now another compass where she just invents that. You know, she she hears it. Okay. She gets it from Will's memory
Yeah,
that Cyclops is a white supremacist group.
yeah.
And then she
And they were
sees,
connected with the clan and the memories.
yeah. and then she sees the clan robe,
Yeah.
and she goes, "Oh, that must mean he's part of Cyclops."
Yeah.
But that just isn't necessarily true, and now
Oh,
we
I
get the
agree.
evidence that like it might not be true. Yeah, okay, of course his wife is sort
But
of
I think
says,
it is
"Yeah."
true.
It's weird. It's
I
sort of
mean, we see the eye, but like she didn't see that.
yeah. Oh man, it's
So
crazy. It's a
okay,
lot of
so like the reason why I compare to the constant is it's not really. I mean, it's not like it like super literally in the way like the compass thing like literally happens or something like that. It's really just that it was an episode like focused on a relationship that kind of existed in multiple timelines or multiple
oh
time
yeah.
periods at the same time, and kind
Mhm.
of rapidly switching between them.
Yep.
So I feel like Dr. Manhattan is doing a Desmond type thing here,
Yep.
where he's
He's
like
a special
switching.
character. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's like it's about this tragic romance that goes across time. And
Mhm.
so anyway, that was the
That's the
vibe that
same in
really reminded me.
Leftovers.
Yeah, you're right.
Leftovers ended like that too. He loves that. He loves
It
that.
does.
Um yeah, it was interesting to see, this actor play Dr. Manhattan and playing an omniscient person who's like aloof to normal humanity is really interesting. I guess one of the biggest surprises was the relationship between Dr. Manhattan and Ozymandias.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And how that all because it was the opposite of what I thought
That
happened.
was the biggest shocker for me, actually. Yeah, they weren't
Yeah,
like Jacob and Man in Black at all, even though they had a couple of lines that reminded me of them. But
yeah,
they weren't
it's weird.
antagonistic. Ozymandias asked to go to
Well,
the
it and
play. He was like
yeah,
happy about it.
but now what's weird is I now what I can't sorry, we're podcasting pretty late, so I'm losing my words. It's probably gonna happen the whole podcast, but the what I can't piece together is why he's forced to be there and can't leave, and the only
Yeah,
rule is you don't leave. And
exactly. Yeah, I'm not clear on that. Did Oh, you know what else he found out? Why they have English accents.
yeah, and I thought that was I really enjoyed that part of the story is understanding why the clones look the way they do, why it's that manner.
Yeah.
All of that stuff I thought really worked to explain that stuff. You know, even when like he creates the life and they're, white people, I'm like, why are they white? And I'm like,
Mhm.
well, John's white. I guess he was used to be before he was blue. I guess that's
Right.
fine. But they're actually modeled after,
Specific people.
specific people, and this whole sort of touching story about this, the lord and lady of the man or whatever, and
Mhm.
this whole, go and create something wonderful, and this whole like it just works thematically, this whole create life thing, and with Adam and Eve and him as a kid, seeing them having sex and that whole thing, like it was a lot more intricate and interesting as an explanation than I was expecting
Mhm.
for the details of the world. Now why did he create it on Europa is interesting.
Right.
Um, oh, and then the detail about the thing on Mars. I thought they were gonna just basically say, "Oh, that's just old footage of, Dr. Manhattan on Mars," and that's
Right.
not, because he's not there, right? So
Yeah.
the footage we saw wasn't current, but it's like, oh, it is current. It's just not him. It's just some program,
Yeah.
and it's just a decoy.
Yeah.
um yeah, a lot of interesting little details here and
Oh,
there.
the other thing we found out is what happened on the White Knight.
Yeah, so that's something I couldn't have guessed. We
I
knew
feel
there
like
was
I
a
felt like I should have because I'm like, oh, I knew Cal was Doctor Manhattan, so I should have at least thought like, well, maybe that had something to do with it. That never occurred to me for some reason.
yeah, I mean, we definitely could have guessed before we knew the reveal about Cal, but I think I knew
Yeah.
we suspected there was a Deus Ex Machina saving her, and we just thought it was Judd being
Yeah.
there. And
Because they wanted to get close to Doctor Manhattan. So yeah,
yeah,
like, but I didn't really think like, oh, maybe like the situation could have triggered some kind of
Mm-hmm.
reflex, you know?
Well, we were just talking about last podcast about how does Will and the Cavalry know Cal is Dr. Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
And so the answer is like, well, he told Will he is
Right.
basically.
Yeah.
And then with the Cavalry, they figured it out when he zapped them away.
Right.
But I guess Angela didn't notice or didn't. I'm confused about, when he saved her. I guess Cal didn't remember that he zapped him away
Yeah, seemingly not.
because that would break his cover if he.
It
Oh,
would,
how did I do that?
yeah, yeah, he
So
would
did
have to.
she not know either, or she knew and couldn't say anything because it would break the
Yeah, I'm
cover?
not sure by the way they cut it, like because she knew all along that he was secretly Dr. Manhattan, she could have seen it and then just not told him.
Yeah, but then it seems like she should have been worried about what might
Yeah,
happen.
I agree. I agree. So maybe she was just passed out or something.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but I thought that was an interesting thing of as an explanation of how they figured out he was Cal.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah,
of
it's a
lot of
good
interesting
point.
little
It's
things.
a good point. The other thing that I thought was like fairly striking was like how often they had Dr. Manhattan in like full Dr. Manhattan mode, like hidden
Yeah.
or obscured. It really reminded me of Lost, like the way they would never show like the smoke monster transforming, for example. Like it,
Are you talking about when they didn't show Doctor Manhattan's face in a lot of scenes?
yeah,
I think they never showed his face before he looks like Cal because
yeah,
otherwise he'd look like John
right,
Osterman basically, right?
yeah,
So, and they just didn't. And the actor who plays Cal is playing him in those scenes. So
right.
they'd have to do a weird thing of casting a different actor, but have the voice be the guy who plays Cal. So it was just better to hide his face.
Right, right. But
Uh,
I even when he's in the cow form or the blue form or whatever, it still seemed to me like they were shying away from. They showed him a couple of times,
I
but
thought they
it's
showed him a lot once he's Cal. I don't think they ever hide his face once he's Cal.
not his face, but like with the eyes and the glowing and like and with the clothes, like I feel like a lot of the way I remember Dr. Manhattan, like from the movie or whatever, like they didn't show him like that very much.
As a human, you mean?
No,
You
no, no,
mean
no.
not
Like,
wait, they oh, you're saying they didn't show him blue and
yeah,
glowing.
yeah.
And they did
And
a
with the
lot.
eyes
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. You're
and without
saying
clothes.
you're saying they did that a lot in this episode.
No. I'm saying they didn't do it a lot in this episode, like only a couple times. Like at dramatic
Yeah.
moments.
Well, yeah, which I thought made sense though. They only did it well most of the time. Like half of the episode, he's like Cal, like normal
Right.
Cal,
Right.
and then there's time, and then after he wakes up in the present as
He's
Doctor
blue
Man,
cow.
he's Blue Cal, and then he
Yeah.
goes super crazy. Then he gets like when he's using his powers, he glows and has the
Yeah.
eyes and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I guess he doesn't use his powers that much, at least not in the sort of present, whatever that
yeah.
means. Uh so they didn't have, but it just seemed to me like from what I remember the movie where I remember
He
him
was
being like
blue the
that
whole
like
time.
all the time.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's because he wasn't trying to be human and hide it
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
But uh yeah, we got the explanation of Ozymandias's squid attacks, how
Oh
he's
yeah,
doing that.
yeah, yeah. Still trying to squid the world, huh?
Yeah, one squid at a time. Um yeah, so I guess like I thought, I thought like Dr. Manhattan's put Ozymandias in prison on Europa in this place, but instead his paradise turned into a prison,
Yeah.
and Doctor Manhattan was just too busy being Cal to remember what happened, and
Right.
I think that's the thing they didn't talk about is, well, what happens if I want to leave this place,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
you know,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
that's
That
the thing
doesn't seem to be a plan.
they didn't say explicitly like I thought they would when Angela is putting the chip in his head to make him forget. I thought it would be like, okay, so what happens if like you need to be you again, and
Mm-hmm.
like do I just get a hammer or like?
Right.
But I guess that was more straightforward.
I guess
Um,
so. Yeah, so like did the clones like autonomously invent this idea that you can't leave? Cuz like there was no discussion of like you can never leave here. Like I don't remember them ever saying that. I mean, we'll watch
mhm,
it and we'll see, but I don't think it's like okay, well, if you're going to go there, you can never leave again. Like so it's just like where did that come from? I mean, we had a whole trial about that in the last episode, and
mhm.
then it's like never mentioned. I don't know. I'm a bit confused about that point.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a really interesting point. Is Well, the whole concept was a little strange that he's like, I want to create this world, I want to create life, and it's just paradise, but they love me too much.
Right.
And that's and I didn't really understand quite why that was a problem. Um, and then he's like, but you can go there. They're looking for someone to worship, and it's like, well, why don't you just It's like it's weird. He's like, I designed them to care about other people more than themselves, but they care about other people too much. They want to worship them. But
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well, like, read. It took you 90 seconds to do that. Like, spend another 90 seconds and tweak it to where it's the thing you want. And I guess that's what's weird is like he didn't have a goal other than to fulfill the promise that he made to the Lord and Lady, right? He didn't have a
Yeah.
like, well, why am I creating life?
Right.
Like, what? Okay, I did it. Now what? Like,
Yeah. 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 It was just to do it. It wasn't. It
mhm,
doesn't seem like it really served a function.
yeah,
um, at all. Even for him, like personally, except just the
hmm,
accomplishment. But yeah, it's I mean, really, like I'm really feeling the fact that this is only 9 episodes. Like it's quite short, and it really feels like they're packing in a lot of plot points really
yeah,
quickly.
yeah,
And therefore, the explanations we get sometimes are kind of breezy.
hmm,
So it's like, okay, okay, yeah, he did it to create life. Let's move on.
yeah. Well, and it seems like that was a natural next idea, right, from the end of the Watchmen comics and all that stuff of like, okay, he
Yeah,
leaves to go create life. Now, what does that look like? Well, maybe he goes to a moon on Europa and he
right,
creates a paradise. And then what? Well, then it's boring because it's a paradise,
right.
and like maybe that's why God left Adam and Eve, the Garden of Eden it was paradise. God's like, well, Earth is perfect. Bye.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that supposed to be, are we supposed to like put the two together and say like this is some commentary on, on God, our, Christian God or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
This that sort of idea. I Yeah, the whole thing with Ozymandias is super. The fact that they're like friends is weird.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's super weird.
And
Uh,
Ozymandias made the little
oh,
circle
that was
thing.
that seems like such a contrived retcon thing of just like, ah, yes, you see, putting you in the chamber was Plan B. Plan A was this other thing that I'll use now instead of before. It was to make it's like, how do you know how his brain works? How do you know how, like, he didn't even have a brain before, you know what I mean? Like, he only has this brain because he's Cal now. You didn't
Right.
know he was going to be Cal.
All part of the
Like,
plan.
and it'd be different if he had tried it and it failed, or something, but he never
Mm-hmm.
tried it.
Right.
Um, I did love that thing about the tachyon box of like,
Oh
ah,
yeah.
yes, the corner of the universe you
You
can't
don't know what's in the
see.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That worked for me. That worked for me. I think, any story that involves like an omniscient or quasi omniscient character, like Dr. Manhattan, eventually runs into a problem because like
yeah,
it's really hard to build narrative tension if a character
hmm,
knows every fucking thing.
yeah,
So at a certain point, they have to not know a thing.
yeah.
And it just ends up being a bit arbitrary, like where they draw that line.
Yeah, yeah, and well, to me, what was weird is I thought like, well, as soon as he opens the box and Doctor Manhattan sees what's inside, then he should know everything about it from the future.
Mhm.
That didn't quite seem to be the case
No.
exactly.
No, it's like it
And
still
the other,
had a spell.
yeah, it was a magic spell. The other thing I thought that I didn't really like was just the end and this idea of well, we actually talked about it in the last podcast, like the cavalry is trying to kidnap Dr. Manhattan
Right.
and maybe they can't stop that, therefore the Millennium Clock comes into play.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
like I'm not sure why. Why couldn't he have teleported himself out of there?
I'm gonna say it, Shades of Lost again. You know what it reminds me of now that I think
Mm.
about it is the Charlie thing, where it's like, no, I have to, it has to happen. And it's like, well, does it?
Oh,
Or
flashes
can
before
you
your
just
eyes.
leave? No, I mean like the whole thing from the end of season 3 where he's in the looking glass station
Hmm.
and Mikhail lets off the grenade and Desmond has told
Oh,
him that he has to die so that Claire can get on a
yeah.
helicopter
Well, he had to
and
die because his contract ended for that
and
season,
he
and he wasn't
yeah,
renewed for
exactly.
season 4. Uh, Dominic Monaghan had to go.
Cold splash of reality there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
I
like,
think,
the way they filmed it, like he could have just walked out of the door and
yeah,
closed it behind him.
yeah,
But it seemed like he was like, no, I'm fated to die. So I guess I'll shut myself in and make sure that I
hmm,
die.
yeah,
So
yeah.
anyway,
That
that's what
you're
this
right.
reminds me of.
Yeah, I was confused. I mean, and it's a weird thing again, like you were saying with omniscient characters. It's like, yeah, well, hey, listen, they're trying to catch me and destroy me. I can't stop it. And it's like, well, okay, you can't stop it because like ultimately it doesn't matter, and you'll piece yourself back together again in the future. Like, is that it? Or are you
Right.
dying? Like, which one is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy, but yeah, it was very lost. Yeah, you're right. It was like the black version of the constant.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, and there's
Yeah.
just like it's a very particular style of writing romantic characters. Um, they're kind of just all the same. Like the male and female character are just like the banter and the way they talk, right? Like Penny and Desmond
Hmm.
and the leftovers characters whose names escape me.
Kevin and
Nora, yeah.
Nora.
And
Yeah.
like there's
Oh God, you're right.
there's the woman who's like, "Oh, you're charming, but I don't want to have any of
Hmm.
it." And like, yeah, it's just it's like the same thing with
Yeah.
just different contexts. But it's very much in the spirit tonally on how the characters interact and what's at stake and things like that. It's very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
And that whole thing that Angela's doing the entire episode at the bar, like, I don't believe anything you're saying, but I'm gonna talk to you for the next hour. Like that we and like she does such a good job. Regina King does such a good job at playing that thing, but it is weird to be like I don't have time for this game, but also I love this game. It's like, I
Right.
literally, that's what she says at the end. Dinner tomorrow night. I'll screw it. Who cares? It's like, yeah, exactly. What are we doing here? It's yeah, it's super weird, but I did enjoy. I thought they did a really good job portraying Dr. Manhattan's temporal perception.
Dislocation or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I thought they did a good job with that, and I'm experiencing them all together and sort of offset a little bit, and how those things work. And what's cool is they do a sort of not a red herring, but there's a sort of prestige effect, right? The entire episode, they're telling us that he can talk and experience several time periods at once, right? And
Yeah.
then they drop a bomb in our lap and go, "Oh, what if we do it now with this information?" Boom.
Mm-hmm.
We just
Yeah.
like really, we just like upended the entire story itself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was really sly
Yeah.
because you didn't know that you were seeing a magic trick play out the
The
entire time.
information that drives the plot from this season came from nowhere, seemingly.
Yeah, yeah.
Like no one actually originated it, which
Hmm.
is really
Well,
just
it was the chicken and the egg originated at the same time.
yeah.
That's yeah.
Yeah, if you want to say that, I guess.
They always existed. I love when she figures it out. She's just like, "Did I just do
Hmm.
that?"
Yeah. Shit.
Because like no take backsies,
No, there's like nothing you can do. It's like, God damn it, that was the
Well,
whole
I
plot
I
right
thought
there.
maybe she'd be like, "Tell him never mind."
Yeah, 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 yeah. That was mistaken.
Yeah, tell him
Uh,
not Judd, it was Bud. It was a Bud. Yeah. Uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah. So like I got really excited at the beginning of that scene when she first asked the question because it was a question I had,
yep.
which was how does Will know about the clan robes in the
Yeah.
closet? Like, because it was not clear at all and, from episode 6. And I was like, oh, cool. And then it's like, but wait a minute, this is before any of that happened. He's not going to know. Oh, fuck. This is how he
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this to
Well,
me?
I thought it was gonna be because he had already wanted to go after him, right? Or he knew that he was
Yeah, I
almost
thought it might be an
committed
old
to her.
Cyclops thing. You know, he
Exactly.
was keeping track of Cyclops members or something. You know, I guess they could have said that,
Well, but
but
now it begs the question of where does this vast insidious conspiracy come from that he's even talking about? Because Angela's the one who gave him the idea to
ah,
even talk about Crawford.
yeah, that makes me think that makes it. So I mean, maybe that is part of what he was alluding
Hmm.
to. You know, because
Like,
that does
like,
seem more mind blowing.
well, that is now that you're right. That is completely mind blowing. If it's like, look, you're the one who told me about this. You haven't told me yet, but also you told
But
me years ago.
you already told me, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like that's something I could start to buy maybe
Yeah.
as being like,
No,
okay,
I actually
I
like that because that's mind blowing in the way you expect it to be mind blowing. That
yeah,
it's completely incomprehensible and without the right context. Now she does know who Dr. Manhattan is and she
true.
understands. So it's a little bit more down to earth for
It's less
her,
mind blowing than it could
but
be.
she
Yeah.
hasn't actually experienced that effect of
Right.
something in the present affecting the past
Transmitting
that
it.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what I don't understand about his power or his perception is that why can't he? It's this weird thing, right? He yeah, I can't quite wrap my head around how it works, right? Because he'll say things like, "Right now, I'm talking to you," right? So 5 years ago, I'm talking to you, and then right now I'm talking to someone else, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if 5 minutes passes in the present, that 5 minutes there's also 5 minutes passes in the past, right? So there's just like offset of a certain amount, right, of how he's perceiving time,
Mm-hmm.
right? But like, can't he go further than that in a way? You know what I'm saying? So like he has a scene where he shows up to Will's place and he says, "You've got a granddaughter in Tulsa, right?"
Mm-hmm.
And in the future slash present, Angela says, "Hey, ask him about the clan robes." And in the past, he asked about the clan robes, right?
Yeah.
But isn't Dr.
Oh,
Manhattan also experiencing the 20
I see
minutes
what you're
before he
getting
even
at.
gets there, before he
Yeah,
even
yeah,
gets to
yeah,
Will's
yeah.
place? And couldn't he, and I guess he can't, or time has literally no meaning. He can't make a different decision. He can't decide not to knock on Will's door, once he's
Mm-hmm.
knocked on the door.
Right.
So it's like these things are happening and have happened. He's just experiencing them sort of in several real times, but he can't time travel. He can't
Right.
go back before something happens.
Yeah.
He's just experiencing things. Yeah, also about Lost, but to the constant, as you were saying, it's consciousness travel, which
Yeah.
is the whole
Yeah. The
constant thing.
Desmond thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Uh yeah, no, I mean, I think that idea of time, there is no now here reminds me of like that whole thing where it's like it's just really hard to write a story where time doesn't function the normal way
Hmm.
because like you do run into problems with cause and effect and that's what
Yeah.
they're dealing
Well,
with
and
there.
that's why I love stories about time travel, because our our entire reality is built on linear time.
Yeah,
Um, it's like trying to tell a story about four-dimensional universe or something, or five. It's like
right.
we won't understand that. It makes no sense,
Yeah,
and it shouldn't make any sense because we don't have any frame of reference for it. And so I like when you can get into those ideas of like, yeah, this the chicken and the egg occur simultaneously, and that doesn't make any sense, but that's why time travel is crazy to us.
right.
And so yeah, I thought they did a good job with how they, editing wise and story wise, and just conceptually how they displayed what was going on from his perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 I agree. I agree. And it also gave them like a way to do a kind of long flashback episode in a very stylized fashion.
Yeah, yeah, it's not a flashback if it's his present still.
Right. Right. Exactly. Like
Yeah.
for us, it's like a flashback episode, but yeah, I guess he's sort of experiencing it in totality. I guess that pushes it to the next level from those things on Lost where they would have a flashback episode, or a character centric episode, and it would seem like they were remembering the flashback, in the
Ah,
present.
yeah.
You know what I
Mhm.
mean? But this is like, no, he's not just remembering it; he's like living it somehow, like at the same time, and it's influencing him in a way. But I guess like it really does like call into question like what constrains him to act at any given time period. Like
Yeah,
how bound is he by
and he's
time?
and he's not
You
in
know?
every point in time of his life simultaneously, right? So there's that scene where they're having
Right.
sex and she's like, where are you? And he's like, I'm back when we first met. And it's like, he
Yeah.
wasn't there 5 minutes ago, but he's there now.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. And I was also gonna say something about something you just said. That's how conversation works. Um, what did you just say? Bound by time. What did you say before that? Uh, That'll come back to me.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't remember.
Yeah. No, it'll. It was something about this episode, so I'm sure I'll remember.
Yeah. 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 Hopefully.
All right, let's do it.
You want to dive into the
Yep. Let's
commentary?
walk into Abar.
All right.
All right, everybody, get your streamers ready to stream. If you're gonna stream with us. my stream
Stream time.
ready myself. Okay, here
Oh,
we
you ready to
go.
stream? Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2. Watchmen. Previously on Watchmen. I love this line about he was a puppet master because he wanted to pull the strings. It's like,
Yeah, they did
wow.
give a little more exposition about this guy that you were asking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, they did. They did. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Couldn't after Angela does the temporal loop and gives her grandfather his mission, couldn't she have just told Dr. Manhattan to tell him, don't come to Tulsa? Don't do it.
Yeah, you would think so.
But then that would change whatever happened, right? So
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They seem to want to stick to that mostly,
yeah.
with the occasional cheat.
She says fuck a lot. It's great. I love at the end when he's flashing around and doing stuff. Oh, that was another lost thing is when things were heating up, that they sent the kids away. That was a
Oh
complete
yeah,
lost thing where it's
definitely.
like, oh no, get the innocent people out of the line of fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 Let's not deal with this right now.
Hmm. What was that? Not lost. Maybe it was leftovers. There was something where they like sent the kids somewhere. Can't remember.
Oh, well, the kids stay behind and leftovers when they go to Australia. I don't know if
Okay,
that's what
yeah.
you have in mind.
Okay, it starts out as a bar. Oh, I thought it switched. Okay, it was a bar the whole time.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the promotions, they didn't reveal that, even though, like, yeah, I feel like that should have been
Yeah.
obvious. I don't know why I didn't pick that up.
What I don't understand though is why he loves Angela and why does
Because of
this
that
even
one time
start?
when she went to grab some guns,
Well,
apparently.
that's the moment he fell in love with her. But why does he love her?
It's not the same?
Like this is the first time that they've met from her perspective. I think from
Yeah.
his also. But
Is it from his?
I don't think they've met technically before.
But I mean, doesn't he like perceive the future too? So,
But
like,
he's not meeting her in the future. He already knows her in the future.
right.
But
Yeah.
but what's weird is like from his perspective, he loves her already because of
Right.
his perception of the future.
Yeah.
But that only happens because of this moment here. So
Right.
it's like because he loves her in the future, it's another paradox. Because he loves her in
Yeah.
the future, he comes to meet her here.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're right.
That was nice. I love that because it actually happens. It's
Yeah.
just like what? This was another thing I didn't know was exactly the thing, but she did become a cop in Saigon as she wanted
Mm-hmm.
to as a kid. I didn't know
Yeah.
that was true.
Yeah.
And I thought this was like some tongue in cheek explanation of like why Dr.
Definitely.
Manhattan was doing this,
Yeah.
which makes me think like, is she gonna have a baby
Oh no.
that'll be like half God?
Oh
But
God.
then he says like, I wouldn't give my power. That's another thing. We get the explanation of how he can transfer his powers.
Right.
Why was he there for 20 years when it took 90 seconds to create it and he instantly knew that it was horrible? I feel like you can tell he's not a human being because he's wearing that mask with that band around his ears, which a human
Hmm.
being would never do.
Right. Yeah, that's just wrong.
Yeah. I wish she would have said, "Why Europa?"
This episode does clarify how long Cal has existed,
Yeah, what was it?
but I forget now. We'll have to
Okay.
get there. But like I think they say it at a certain point. I forget. There was something in the last podcast that was contingent on how long, but I think that was based on the imprisonment of Ozymandias, which was
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah. It took God 6 days. I'm just saying. I guess that was the whole universe, not just the bubble of
Yeah.
paradise. Fair enough. Did he just say Christianity is not real?
I was just thinking, is Cal an atheist because Dr. Manhattan is?
Yeah. He
I
just
mean, except for
basically said,
himself.
like, Christianity's wrong.
Yeah, he did.
So that means that that manor house in England disappeared at some
Moved.
point, and no one's talking about it.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know. I feel like someone should have been like, Dr.
Where'd
Manhattan
that
did
Where'd
this.
that house go?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Whatever that means.
Yeah. A watchmaker's son?
Yep.
Yeah, it calls into question Ozymandias' play. Like, what was the point of like all of that stuff?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good point. Just mindless entertainment? I have no idea.
And it's interesting that he garners the same type of disdain for the clones that Dr. Manhattan kind of had.
Yeah.
Like, there's something about like not having a will of their own outside of pleasing the master that makes them worthless, which
Yeah,
I think is
yeah.
some sort of theme, but I don't know what it is exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the theme from 2001: Space Odyssey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
they use it in that. I mean, it's a famous classical piece, but yeah.
Nope. Kubrick invented it.
I think he mostly used like classical stuff. Without an H.
No age. The German way. This I thought was so weird. Well, I could get to know the children apart
Yeah,
from
this
their
seems like super
parents.
shady. I
Yeah.
wouldn't. I don't know. I know they don't mean any harm, but
Yeah.
it's like this is weird. I also feel like their point here is like very strange. Like these are strange people.
Well, what's I feel like normally what would have happened was like they're not married or something, and like
Mm-hmm.
he knows a secret and they're trying to cover up a secret. That's usually the kind of scene this is,
Yeah.
but it's not that. So that's what makes
No.
it weird. That
Exactly.
now it's about like you saw us having sex, which is weird. Like that's not weird. But it becomes about this point that they're going to make about Genesis and Adam and Eve and creating life.
Yeah, the fact that they morph it into that and then they
Yeah.
pivot to like, okay, so if you create something beautiful, like it's like what?
It's yeah, you're right. There's like several pivots in one scene and then they have like a desk, a table full of Bibles to hand out.
Yeah, yeah.
A blue Bible. He's wearing blues. A lot of blues. This show's so atheist. Even these people are like, it's this, this that's
Oh, it's all
literature.
fine.
That's literature.
People met two people.
People were just two. And there was also a lion.
Yeah, that's a weird picture. It's like it almost seems like they should then want to proselytize, but then they don't even really do that. They're just like create something beautiful, and it's like, really? That's the upshot
what
from
it,
like I watched
I
you having sex? Like,
well, it should have been
really?
like I almost feel like they should have said they can't have children, and that's the whole reason they need someone to create something that they can't create.
Right.
Like it was their life stream to create life, but it was denied them.
Yeah.
That might have been a little more direct for me.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It was just a bit awkward. I they had a long way to go there.
Yeah. Huh. She says that like like you're so boring or something.
Yeah, yeah. What does that mean?
Yeah, that mask is creepy.
It is.
But see that line, why doesn't he know that the moment he falls in love with her later? That was a great line. A little glow. That's a weird shot. I remember when I saw that the first time. I couldn't tell what we were looking at in that shot. Still don't know. There was like nothing of focus, and I was like, "Why are we looking here?"
Yeah. Oh, I find this answer unsatisfying.
But wouldn't he know from the future that it was bad?
Yeah, this whole thing, like, have you ever done something even though you knew you'd regret it? It's like, yeah, humans do that shit, but like, we don't perceive time like you do. Like, I don't know. To me,
Yeah, yeah.
that's
The
not
the BL perceiving time would prevent us from doing things we would regret.
exactly. That's the fucking point. So just, I feel like
Yeah.
he gets off way too easy.
Unless he's just saying regret is inevitable whether you perceive time or not, which,
Right.
it's a tougher one, tougher pill to swallow. So then here we go. Here's where I first started thinking, okay, this is when he becomes Cal because she's gonna. I was like, I should have guessed this. Like, like she's gonna. If they have a relationship, she's gonna want to be able to be with him normally.
Right. So here's the Cal answer.
Mm-hmm.
He did exist, but
This is what I guessed. It was
yeah.
literally the same thing of like he's got the papers and documents and blah blah
Yeah.
blah.
Yeah, it's easier that way. But he never actually knew Angela.
Yeah. It's such a poetic statement that I'm like, why did you say that?
Yeah.
The thing that they skip over between the previous scene and this scene is the like falling in love part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I
the
feel like they
development of
never
the
really show
relationship.
that,
Yeah.
which is kind of strange.
Yeah. Like what about him is interesting besides the fact he's Dr. Manhattan?
Mhm.
I thought this was a weird moment because he seems to suggest that she was not wanting to show the black guy for some reason,
Yeah.
and I didn't know why. Like, unless she's like, well, you're sort of a white guy. Maybe you want the white bodies,
Mhm.
but I prefer
Yeah,
the
they don't
black
say that out
guy.
loud, but it does seem like maybe
Yeah,
that's subtext.
yeah,
Though I think one of the bodies was Vietnamese.
yeah. And their production budget just went down by a lot.
Well, they got to pay for that circle.
That circle costs 30 cents in makeup. I'm curious how he knows the physiology of that person just by looking at them, like the length of their vocal cords.
Yeah, he could just like sense it or something. I have no
Yeah.
idea.
It's actually not gonna forget exactly, but okay. Love that line. Well, that's manageable. I could leave you by then and still be cool.
They did this in Flash Before Your Eyes.
Mm-hmm. I did like that thing though of like
Yeah,
I've never even heard this song.
it's a twist.
Yeah.
But it's like the answer is it will be.
Yeah. This shot. I don't get that shot.
Wait, which one?
It's the one where they're like table level and you see her hand and like it just it's
Oh,
like why are we there?
yeah.
Why does he care about sex?
Uh
Well, you see there's a bird and there's a bee. And then Dr.
Yeah, no one
Manhattan.
ever asked that question. I don't know.
I did like this whole escalation of like trying to prevent something that's inevitable. And then
Hmm.
he's like, this is it. This is the thing here. We're doing the fight now. We've entered the fight zone. Yeah, he seems agnostic as shit, dude. It'd be hard to deal with him.
Hmm. I agree.
Which begs the question, why does she like him? And they skip
Yeah.
over all those scenes.
They don't really explain that.
Yeah.
We just kind of accept that it happens.
Yeah. Like he's so enigmatic that why wouldn't you?
Yeah, yeah. She's just drawn in. I mean, it's crazy. Like at the end, she's like, ah, fuck it.
Yeah.
Like, really?
There it is. I love that. Just FYI, we're in the fight now.
This is the fight.
This is the fight, FYI. See, I thought they were gonna do this thing similar to what they did with the Hulk in the Marvel MCU. This idea that he's always angry, he can turn to Hulk at any time. I thought he was
Ah.
gonna say like like I'm always scared because I'm always in that moment. I'll never ever not be there. But they didn't actually
Hmm.
say that. I thought that would be the because I thought that would be such a huge reveal about the downside of his temporal perception.
Mm-hmm.
Like the worst pain he's ever felt, he can never leave that moment.
Right.
But they didn't actually say
Yeah.
that, so
No, it's a good idea though.
yeah, thanks. I'll write it myself.
I didn't
Yeah,
mean like
great.
that.
Yeah.
It's real they have this fight, but it kind of doesn't matter.
Yeah, because he comes back with a plan, and he
Yeah.
luckily he goes to a guy who can help him with the plan
Yeah.
because he had Plan A.
Oh God. Of course, it was Plan A.
And like, where is this? The North Pole or something?
Antarctica? Isn't that where it was in the
Antarctica.
movie?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. You know what else was in Antarctica?
What?
In Lost?
Oh God. Oh God. Right. I
Yeah,
forgot about that.
yeah.
Oh man. Will it never end?
It won't ever. Why does he even know he's here? This is what I didn't get. Like, he's not surprised that he just walked face through his door. Like, he's not surprised he's here.
No, he doesn't like react at all.
No. Metaphorical balls. Also literal balls.
Right.
Oh, that was a vat full of squids. I didn't catch that in the background.
Oh,
Yeah.
so they're not coming from another dimension after
Not
all.
at all. It's weird that he was like this 2019 because like Ozymandias has got that skinny tie. It looks like it's the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's classic 80s.
He's old school.
But I guess yeah, that's his style. Morals. Oh, one of them popped out.
I saw that.
But it's not working. You just said the previous scene they're still building the bombs.
Shh. Yeah, I don't think the squid rain is helping.
Yeah. This line was weird. Like this was I didn't think this worked. I don't this cultural appropriation thing, like I I feel like it makes sense to say that, but it did not work at all to me because of the context here.
So, yeah, why would you say that?
Well, because cultural appropriation is about one person particular race, usually white people, right, getting a benefit by appropriating another culture. He's not getting any benefit by appearing black. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the thing. And also he has no concept of like what he's talking
I
about.
guess I guess the closest thing I could think of that's called cultural appropriation that's kind of like this is like wearing a Halloween costume of something from another culture, you know? Sort of like
Sure.
he's putting on a costume, you know?
But if it would, but the thing is about benefit though, right?
Well, yeah, that's why I said Halloween costume,
Now,
because it isn't really a benefit in that case. They're just like doing it for
well, the
fun or
benefit is
whatever.
you get to wear the costume you want, right? The benefit is you
Well,
get to
sure,
look
sure.
like
I mean, I guess
whatever.
that's his benefit in this case.
Well, but
I
see, I think
mean,
it'd be
to
different
hide.
if it was, you know, his benefit is Angela's more attracted to this version,
Mm-hmm.
right? If that was it, then I could kind of see what he's saying.
Okay, okay, okay. I see. Yeah,
I appreciated like that they tried to shoehorn that in, but it felt shoehorned in.
I agree. I agree.
And also, cultural appropriation needs people to know the difference, right? No one seeing him is gonna know he's not a black guy,
Right.
so
That's
it's
true.
not really appropriate. So it's like it's just a weird. It didn't really work for me, but
Yeah.
I love physiognomy. Never heard that word. It's great.
There's this plan A.
Yeah, this is plan A that I've made without even knowing the answers to the question I just asked you.
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't really make any sense.
Ugh.
There it is.
Yeah, that's yeah.
The white knight answer.
Mm-hmm.
Why though?
Why didn't Dr. Manhattan remember this conversation 30 years ago?
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't know what's in the box, he should know this conversation's going to happen.
Yeah. You're right. And shouldn't he know what's in the box after it's opened?
Once it's
Like,
open, he
that
should
was your
know.
point earlier.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have to remember it when it's closed. He can remember
Mm-hmm.
later when it's open.
Yep. And now he remembers.
Yeah, exactly. And then he always remembers. That's where it gets
Unless they're
weird for me.
saying like the irradiation is actually clouding his memory of this entire conversation. I
Yeah,
guess that's what they're trying to get
I
across.
guess.
It's
That's
not just
crazy.
hiding the box, it's hiding this conversation.
Yeah.
So now I'm confused on why he goes to talk to Will. Why do they? I feel like he
All
shows
right.
up and all he does is does the Angela paradox and doesn't actually talk about his own business.
I guess I guess he tells him about Angela. Maybe that's all he wants to do?
But why?
To like reunite her with her family, you know? Because she lost her family.
Hmm. We'll see when we get to that scene. So yeah, he's like, "Do I ever see my parrot in Utopia?" And he's like, "Yeah," but does he not know that he hates the Utopia he's gonna go to?
Oh boy. Well, he's not, if he's not aware during that time period, can he like remember it?
You don't think there's gonna be a scene where they meet later and he's like, "I hated that place."
Yeah, it's probably, oh, he can remember that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, nothing ever ends. That reminded me of the whole like it only ends once.
Yeah.
they're sort of like both the Man in Black. Like, man is corrupt, and it always is the same.
Yeah.
Why Europa?
Exactly.
No one's gonna ask.
No one's gonna ask that question. And why can't you leave?
But once you go there, you can
Is it
never leave.
teaming?
It's
Teaming?
teaming.
Or like is there a little bit of life? Infinite?
Is it infinite? Because in this last episode, they were not acting like it. Unless you count that wink as infinite love.
They don't care who? And that was a weird line to me because I'm like, that's all you want was someone to worship you? I thought you were
Yeah.
trying to like save humanity.
Yeah.
Or I guess maybe it sounds like Paradise Now versus what he's always wanted, but still.
Right.
I'm God. I'm sending you fast.
That's what Godspeed means.
And then this whole thing becoming a metaphor for marriage. Like it's a
Mm-hmm.
ring and one knee. I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
Or else your hand's gonna get stuck in my brain.
That's gonna be weird.
The lie.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of story beats they're hitting here. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm. I did not get that exchange. That's weird. I don't buy that. I thought she should have at least have applauded the what she perceives as a magic trick of producing an egg out of nowhere.
Yeah.
She didn't even care about that. That's pretty
No.
cool.
Yeah.
Like he was prepared to produce an egg. If that's a long con, they've been talking for a while.
Definitely.
Like she didn't care, but the what?
Nah, that did nothing.
Like he's carrying around at the worst, he's carrying around an egg.
Yeah. This seems like a clue about how the
Yeah,
transfer of power is going to work.
yeah. But I guess the question is, what are they going to make him create to put his powers in, and then what form is that going to be, and who's going to drink it?
Yeah.
See, that should have been a thing where she goes, "Oh yeah, magic trick. Yeah, it's a hard-boiled egg. Otherwise, like it's harder to pull the trick off, right?"
Mm-hmm.
But then she cracks it and it's real,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
like that should have been the
She's
thing.
she's like Shania Twain, like that don't impress
That
me
didn't impress
much.
me much.
Like egg, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
How about a chicken next time?
Oh, this is the line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's that timey-wimey nonsense.
Yeah.
It was your idea when you told me later, and I'm telling you now that it was your idea
Because you told me
later.
before.
And then you'll say it was my idea, but it was actually yours. This part is
Hmm.
weird. Like, this just seems so arbitrary to me. Is there a reason for this?
Yeah, this whole tunnel love thing is super crazy weird how they're trying to make a theme out of that. You're supposed to say I do afterwards. Kiss the spot so I know where to put it. Why?
Why though?
He's extra blue. Yes, I'm a man who likes waffles.
Could we have some exposition about that?
Yep. Can you give us a brief flashback? So he did when he was Cal. He didn't have any memories of being Doctor Manhattan, but now that he's Doctor Manhattan again, he has memories of being
Mm-hmm.
Cal.
Yep. Also, like the
Oh, so
constant.
she just said you zapped them away.
Yeah. Oh, so she did see it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And yet, this entire time, she was not suspicious that that might lead anybody to thinking he's Doctor Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
You're not that sorry. Bloop, motherfucker. Love that. The usual. That was a weird thing to say. I'm really confused on why she said that. Motherfucker. I feel like they should have set up that like the Sister Night tape is just her saying motherfucker all the time
Hmm.
or something.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
That might be my favorite line ever. Get the fuck up off the pool. Get the fuck up off the pool. Sometimes you just gotta walk on water to get your head straight.
I guess.
Aren't they with their great grandfather? Is that like they're with Will, right? Is that what
Yeah.
he's saying?
Her grandfather, I guess, not their grandfather. Did he say
Yeah,
their
he
grandfather?
said their grandfather,
Oh, well, he fucked up then.
which made me think they were with the white dude who like was on their
Oh.
porch.
Oh, I guess they could be.
Yeah,
I guess they
yeah.
could be.
But no, but then he said he's expecting them, and then they flash back to this, and I assumed at the
Okay.
time that this meant he was going to tell them, "Hey, 10 years from now, I'm going to send your grandchildren to you."
Yeah.
But that didn't actually happen, so maybe that's not right. This is also another thing where, like, first of all, before I forget, I love the line that Captain Metropolis left him this house,
Hmm.
which now makes me think he did care about him
Yeah,
more than
yeah,
I
yeah.
thought.
Yeah,
Unless
it seems
unless
less.
unless it was just a guilt thing.
Yeah. I'm sorry, House.
But this also this thing of like you're Dr. Manhattan and you showed up on I'm not that impressed.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you
he's
just
not
you
impressed
just
either.
phase through walls and like I didn't know you were doing that, but okay, I'm fine. It's super weird.
Yeah.
The purple's interesting too because purple is made from red and blue, and it used to be wearing red, which is Hooded Justice colors, and blue's Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah.
Like, shouldn't he remember in the future Angela's going to tell him to tell him something in like 5 minutes, and she's going to regret doing that?
Yeah, no, you're totally right. But this is the reason. This is the reason that he stays. He wants Will to help.
Help what?
Help with the plan.
So basically, so he must remember whatever's going to be whatever happens after he gets taken later,
Yeah,
which hasn't happened yet.
right.
Which I mean, like, well, that was a weird thing to say, but her grandmother told her that when she was little, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
What does he say then? Yeah, this is the constant.
Yeah, 100%.
Now I wonder if this is going to be the most highly rated episode of this season.
Yeah. I love it. I love she goes for like straight up information.
Yep. Again, like it's so weird. Like, and maybe that was I don't know. I don't know how to parse it. Like, could it be that Judd Crawford just had the clan robe as a memento, but also his wife is part of the Calvary
It
secret
could be.
shit?
It could be. I don't think we have definitive proof about that yet.
Did I steal this? Oops.
I love
Oh
how quickly
man.
she realized
She
that.
gets it. Yeah, there's no time to wait. But yeah, most characters would not have figured this out that quickly.
Is it a good
Why
thing? Do
is
you
it
know
a
more
good
about him?
thing?
Yeah, that line's weird. That line's here. What do you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Different time periods, but simultaneously. The Booker is the third one. Yeah, that's great. I love this thing. I love this. Although I love that, but I thought he would just like rematerialize them,
Hmm.
put them back together. I love this. They're already here. They're outside in a really conspicuous truck.
Yeah, they're like really easy to see.
Yeah. What? Like why wouldn't he just destroy it right now? That's what I don't get. Like make it go poof.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why he can't do that. That's a Charlie thing.
Yeah.
He seems to
This
think
is
he's
it.
like
You're right.
fated to do
This is
this.
them. This is Charlie and Desmond in the hatch in
Yeah,
the looking glass. And he's like, "No, I'm going to close the door and
I
drown."
can't change it. It has to be this way. So I'm actually gonna just like let it happen,
Yeah.
even if I seemingly could stop it.
Mhm. What?
What? It was a lot later.
Yeah, but also at the same time, I love that. She just doesn't have time for his bullshit. Your temporal bullshit. Stay here while I save your life. He's omniscient. He doesn't need your help, but also he does.
It's weird. It's both and.
I like that she's in like tactical gear at the top, but also in her pajamas at the bottom. And it's just like, and then this where like they're really coming after him.
Yeah, it's a lot. I thought it was just one truck
Yeah, no, it's
at
a whole
first.
cavalry, perhaps.
You might say with a K.
With the K. Why are we in gospel choir right now?
I yeah. I don't know. This is supposed to be like the tragic ending. I guess it's like this
Yeah,
quasi, you know.
angels calling him home.
Yeah, something like that.
She's reckless as fuck, man.
Oh hell
This
yeah.
was a weird plan. I thought she
Yeah.
was gonna try to ram the machine, and no. Yeah, there's nothing
You could have
cool
done that
about
the whole time.
the.
Like, what have you? Why were you making waffles two
Yeah,
seconds ago?
yeah. Now this is what I don't get. Why doesn't he just kill the guy who he knows isn't dead
Yeah,
yet,
seriously.
and then he
Again,
make with
yeah,
his.
again, it seems like he just doesn't think he can for some reason.
Or it'd be different if he's like, listen, they have another machine. They're gonna get me eventually, or something.
Yeah.
But this is also like whatever happens, happens. It's almost like he's in the future experiencing this time here, so he can't actually change anything.
Right.
With
Also
no
with no
age.
age.
Yeah, no age.
Yeah, you're right.
About what?
He knows the things that are happening after, I think.
Yeah,
But he's not going to tell us because, you know.
yeah.
Yeah, but not a predefined tragedy in a specific amount of time. I mean, this isn't like, I just feel like he gets off way
He
too
gets
easy
off
with
so
those.
easy. It's like philosophy 101. She's like, yeah, you're right.
It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, what you said is true, but that
Yeah.
doesn't settle the issue. Like,
Yeah.
oh man. All right.
All right.
Another one.
Yeah, fuck it, why not?
Fuck it,
There's
why
for
not?
a lot of reasons. Why not? How about that tragedy? But it's okay. She'll still be young enough to find someone else.
Right, that's what matters.
Yep. Plan B, if you
Gotta do
will.
the rebound.
Well, yeah. Crazy episode.
Yeah, I mean, I do think like it's, it's very high concept. It's very timey-wimey.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a ton. I think maybe one thing that separates it from the constant is there's a ton of exposition and like different plot threads that they're drawing together.
Mm-hmm.
Filling in details about stuff that we didn't know before. So it's not maybe quite as tightly focused as the constant is, but I do think that my guess would be compared to the finale that we're gonna get. I feel like this is gonna seem more, I don't know, cohesive or something, because I think the finale is gonna have to like, end the season, and so I think it just won't be so thematic, I guess.
Yeah, the thing that's really hitting me about this episode is it's not giving me a lot to go on for what the next episode's going to be about. Um
I agree. It kind of just took us to a slightly later version of the same cliffhanger from the previous
mhm.
episode. I mean, mainly
Yeah.
it filled in like certain gaps in the story, but yeah, I don't think
And now
we.
I'm even more confused about why Will came to Lady True to deal with this conspiracy.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. She got the gadgets. I have no idea.
Unless
Hopefully he'll answer that in the next
yeah, unless
episode.
Zuckerman hadn't told him there's more to that scene, right? Where
Right,
he said,
right.
okay, and then after I stop being Cal, then this thing is gonna happen,
Mm-hmm.
and therefore I need you. Because he said something about an alliance, so that seems to suggest
Yeah.
like there's a longer term problem that's at stake.
Right.
There was that thing. Who said it? I think Ozymandias said it. Like he said, a little elephant told me,
Yeah.
which was a weird thing
Yeah.
to say.
I picked up on that. I thought that was strange, and I wondered if that had some connection to the elephant thing from the previous episode.
Well, and now that we've said it before, but you know that there was no reason for Ozymandias to spell out "Save Me, Doctor Manhattan," but
Mm-hmm.
now that we know he put him there not as necessarily as an in
Willingly.
prison,
Yeah.
maybe you know, but why? I still don't think it makes sense. I still think daughter makes more sense.
Totally agree.
Um,
I'm 100% still convinced that Lady True is Ozymandias' daughter.
mhm.
That seems that's so clear to
Now
me.
it begs the question. I guess that was 1985, right? Before, when he goes to, oh, that means he's been there a long ass time. Oh no, wait. When did he send him to Europa?
It was 2009.
Oh, it was 2009. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so then he would have had Lady True already. He would have.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that story about her, the mother, in walking a lot in her feet. So I wonder if that's going to come into play with Ozymandias somehow. Like where would he have met her, Lady True's mother?
Yeah, yeah, it does seem like that would be a whole thing, but I think they're gonna have to toss that off pretty quickly in
Mm-hmm.
the next episode.
Like was she trekking to some squid, like what do you call it,
How
like
are
a
you gonna finish
shrine?
that sentence?
Like a shrine, some sort of like, or you know what I mean, like a.
Trekking to a squid shrine? Is that what you said?
That is what I said. I'm trying to think of like where would she be going that would tie into Doctor to Ozymandias.
No, I totally agree. I think that's the thing that's unclear. I mean, we know Dr. Manhattan was there in Vietnam, but yeah, Ozymandias' connection is unclear.
Mm-hmm.
So
Squid
uh,
shrine.
I think that's something they'll have to explain. But yeah, the thing I was trying to say about Dr. Manhattan about the Vietnam stuff is like I just feel like he's basically a war criminal. And I feel like but they want to make him a sympathetic character. And I just think his explanation of like, well, I did it, but I knew I'd regret it. Oh, well, like mistakes were made. I don't know. That just seems a bit weak to me as a way to like brush past the Vietnam thing.
You think he's a war criminal?
I mean, yeah, I'll call it that. I mean, I think he
And
killed civilians. I think that counts as a war crime.
you think he killed civilians?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Did he?
I mean, maybe he would say not intentionally, but I
I
think
thought the
so.
whole point was he could target the Viet Cong specifically. Did they say he killed civilians?
Did he really not kill civilians? Maybe he didn't kill civilians. I thought he killed civilians.
Are you talking about from the previous stories, or are you talking about from this TV show?
I don't know.
Because from the TV show, all they said, all I got is that the guy who grows up to be the puppeteer and the bomb maker, his parents or whomever was part of Viet Cong, and yeah, they
Hmm.
died because they were the opposition, but
Sure.
not necessarily that they were innocent civilians.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
that's
No.
that's what I
Yeah.
got.
Yeah, yeah. But I thought he killed civilians. I
Well,
I
I
could be
think I
wrong. I
think
could
from
be
the
wrong.
movie maybe or something there was that
Yeah, maybe I
idea
just
that.
have that idea from somewhere else,
Yeah,
or
I
maybe
think
I made
you're
it
right
up. I
from
don't
the
even know.
movie that it was way more morally ambiguous or immoral what he
Yeah,
was
so
doing.
maybe they're trying to clean up that part too to make him
Yeah,
more sympathetic.
but also Ozymandias even said it that he doesn't actually have morals.
That's true.
So
It's true.
that's why he's fungible in a way, right? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm just trying to be what they said. Maybe I'll try this. I'll do this thing.
Hmm.
I'll shoot some lasers with my hands and kill some
Yeah.
people. And yeah,
Yeah. Which brings me back to the question of why Angela loves him so much.
I
It's
feel like she loves him because he's like really entertaining. Like that's all. I mean, their first date, it
yeah.
was just like she was just like so entertained by the proposition that he is Dr. Manhattan, and she wasn't convinced by the end. She just decided to take a leap of faith. Like
Yeah.
all relationships end in tragedy. And then second date, I think it's
Yeah.
more of the same. Like, oh, how long does it take you to paint yourself blue, huh?
Hmm.
And it's, I guess at a certain point she'll realize who he is. But yeah, they really gloss over the whole fall, and that's what's weird is like this all the scenes in the bar, you know, give us the feeling that they're falling in love,
Hmm.
but for him, he's already in love.
Right.
And for her it's like he's just really entertaining. Like, now if that's what she needs in a partner is like entertainment, I get it. But like usually, the relationship is about getting something you need, right? In a more deeper level, and I feel like they didn't ever really show that.
Yeah. 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 I agree. I agree. It's weird. It's weird that they didn't cover that part.
Yeah, and it'd be
I do
different
feel
if
like
she was
he's
like,
a hard character to love in the normal way.
yeah, I feel like it'd be different if she was like, if he was like, yeah, what you really need is a family. And she's like, no, I don't. He's like, yeah, you do. And like, with me, you can have it, at least for a time. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
and so there's now you can give me something I need,
Right.
even if like I'm a hardball character, I don't really want it. But like, yeah, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like, that would have been straightforward to me, and I could understand that. That she's got some sense of a future with him, even if that's a 10-year window,
Yeah.
versus like there's just this weird amorphous I love you,
Hmm.
and that's it. And it's not connected to anything.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot in like movies where like characters just love each other after two scenes.
Right.
But it's in more stark relief here with it being such a unique character,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and it
Exactly.
being like this time paradox, preordained kind of thing. And it's also weird that he's not like, she's like, when did you realize you love me? Well, 10 years from now you're gonna try to save my life even though you can't. Like, why doesn't he know that then?
Hmm.
Is it that he's not experiencing that at the time because he's somewhere else in the future? Like, it's, yeah, part part of me thinks they do a really good job with that, and then sometimes they fail, and I don't know what to think.
Yeah. 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 I feel like I had somewhat similar feelings about the constant. I think it's like there are a lot of clever ideas and interesting
Hmm.
execution of certain elements because of the conceit of the time, but at the same time it introduces all of these
Yeah.
problems that kind of ruin things at times.
Yep.
So it's sort of it's a mixed bag, as they say.
Yeah. I the Ozymandias thing is super weird. Yeah, the whole like, it's a paradise that you'll hate forever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess we're gonna find out, but it's like we just can't have much more there. There's one more episode,
Well, and
so
the fact that he left his lair, like, then who's doing the squid things while
yeah, it
he's
must be
gone?
automated, or did he get a helper, or yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, it's super, and it seems like he's given up on humanity. Like, he's given up on
Hmm.
like the human utopia.
Yeah.
And I would imagine like he should have asked like, he's like, hey, will I ever, would I live to see my utopia? And Dr. Manhattan's like, not here. And he should have said like, what could I do differently?
Mm-hmm.
Or why not? Or like,
Yeah.
can I tweak it? Like, why can't I have utopia on Earth? Because that's what I want.
Yeah.
But I thought it was fairly reasonable that he was exhausted from trying, and so he's like, yeah, you know
Mm-hmm.
what, a place where they'll just worship me and it's all good. That sounds good now, I
Yeah.
so I don't think it's too bad, that plot point.
Yeah, yeah. It just confuses me about what's going on now.
Well, yeah, he doesn't take now. I mean, you can really tell how he doesn't take anything seriously because he, now that we really got their origin.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But it's like, why not? Aren't they people?
Mm-hmm. Seemingly. Yeah. Yeah.
We're people too. All right. Well, one more episode, and then all our questions will be answered.
Yeah, that'll resolve everything.
Yep.
And yeah, hopefully we'll finally find out the truth about what was his name? Judd Crawford.
Yeah. Oh,
That's what I
Judd
want to
Crawford.
know.
Yeah, the mystery of Judd Crawford.
It's really dense somehow. I don't know
Yeah.
why. It seems like it's supposed to be straightforward, but
It's like the character everyone's talking about, but nobody's explaining.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Uh yeah, it was nice to just have the senator, come out and say it so I could just be like, okay, now I know where he stands at least. In the previous episode it was like with Wade, or it was more ambiguous. I
hmm
thought, it seemed like he
It
might be
was super
implying he was
weird
just
that
like using the cavalry.
Wade's episode, they reveal the senator, and he's like, are you even trying to disguise your voice, senator?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, sorry, this mask is for them. But then in the last episode,
Oh
he's walking
no,
around the cavalry without the
he
mask.
pulled a Jeremy Bentham. Yeah, 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 good point. I didn't think about that. That's true.
Yeah, he's like,
He
who
didn't give a
cares?
fuck. Yeah.
And also, where's Paula Malcolmson?
Oh yeah, I feel like they're done with that, but maybe they'll bring it back for the finale.
I think she's gonna be back because I think Wade is gonna
He's gonna be in
infiltrate.
there undercover. That's
Yeah,
the other thing you're clearly right about.
yeah.
I still believe that, even though he didn't appear in that. I actually thought he was going to in that scene. I thought like he was
I
gonna jump out at a certain point.
I thought the guy when they take the door off the truck Angela's in and the
Yeah,
guy has the gun, I thought it was gonna be him.
yeah,
And then his head exploded, and it's like, okay, it's not him.
yeah,
I think he's gonna be at the facility where they're holding Dr. Manhattan, and he's gonna
yeah.
facilitate the escape or whatever.
Totally agree. Yep, yep.
All right, well, we've got it all figured out. I guess we don't even need
Boom.
to watch next
Yeah, don't
episode.
even
So
bother. We just told you what's gonna
skip it.
happen.
Just skip it. Guys, skip it.
Don't waste your time.
All right. Well, until next time, thanks for listening.
All right, thanks. Bye.